Right, hot to trot, something different this week. Back with Duncan McPherson and here in downtown Murchison at Aldebaran Park. Hello, Dunk.
Morning, Paul. How are you?
Very good. Pretty exciting news here at Aldebaran Park. No mistake why we've got a mare and foal behind us in the back paddock, but really exciting news here for the farm.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's something we've Aldebaran Ravani is the mare that's in the background. I found her at Millstream Farm over in America in New Jersey, out of Allentown, with Jonas Cernison and his team over there. Looked at her as a 10-month-old, liked her, bought her at the yearling sales in Harrisburg for the agreed value that they put on her with Christine, of course. We raced her in America and then we brought her out here, and she predominantly raced up in New South Wales at Menangle. The objective was to have a quality time against her name and with Sophia Arvidsson, and 52-7 she raced at Menangle and had some great races with Funky Monkey, who's still going round up there. And after 29 starts, and she'd done what we wanted her to do, which was to get her time in 52-7, and at that point she was the third fastest mile in Australasian history, second fastest mare behind Maori Time, who's also here at Aldebaran Park. And then the decision was first foal. Pat Driscoll rang me and said, or we were looking at Walner, and Pat rang up and said, look, we can get it this season, would you be interested? And I said, absolutely. So joy to the world on the 24th of October, and Aldebaran Ravani put a colt on the ground for us. So yeah, we're pretty excited, and he's a real little dude and everything's going really well so far.
They're stuck into the shelter there behind us, but he is a beautiful little fella. Like, no matter what he's breeding, he's a cool dude. Desiree was here taking photos and he was in her face as much as it was mine. He can be a bit hard because he's so camera shy, but he's a lovely horse, but he offers so much more. And you said with Pat as well, and I'll probably do something with Pat in the next week or two with his horses. We just recently saw a horse sell for $1 million in the US, a trotting colt sell for $1 million by Walner.
Yeah.
These horses are putting us on this world stage. We're actually getting bloodlines and breeding that are standing the test of time worldwide, not just Australia-wide or anywhere like that. He's such an important breeding for, if you like, for us, whether he stays a colt. I would imagine you'd probably hope he does, but yeah, for the Australian racing and New Zealand, Southern Hemispherical racing.
Yeah, I mean, Ravani was out of a mare called Coffee Cake Hanover, who won more than just on 350,000 in America. Her sire was Donato Hanover, so to my knowledge, she's the only Donato Hanover in the Southern Hemisphere. So her pedigree stands for itself, and then to put a Walner colt on the ground after she went 52-7, if I tried to buy him in the US, I'd probably be paying $300,000 US. And then obviously those that bred Pat and myself went to Walner last year with a number of mares. We've been fully franked because his service fee's now gone from $40,000 US in America to $50,000 US. We're paying $40,000 US, and I mean, it was a bit of a wing and a prayer, but I guess when you've got a quality mare like Ravani, with the future of Australian harness racing and Aldebaran Park being the global brand, it was something we just had to do. So it was a bit of a no-brainer. The good news for everybody at the farm, and Mel and Danny have done a fantastic job. We've got another one coming out of Aldebaran Teal, who's a Swedish mare that we half own with Manhammer Terry up in Sweden. So I know that Johan, Hallander and all the team at Manhammer are not only excited, and Jonas Cernison, who helped us with Ravani, of course, and also Aldebaran at Crooks, because he trained her and she's racing again on Saturday night. But Sweden's watching what we're doing down here as well, and I think that we need to maintain these upper end pedigrees to continue to attract the opportunity to go to stallions like Walner, because if we don't breed when we've got the chance, and I know it's very expensive, but these could be potential stallions down in the Southern Hemisphere, and if we can do that, then we're more or less looking after our own industry down here from the next 10, 20 years.
The way to grow our sport, America have paces, we have paces, and they have trotters, America, and the rest, but Europe don't have paces. I mean, England do, but this is world. When we start breeding trotters, we're putting them back to the world, and this is something a lot of people need to get their scones around, I suppose. That sale where this, the Walner colt sold for $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the average for the fillies on the first day was 143,000 for the filly trotters, and 138,000 for the trotting colts.
Yes.
There was large numbers sold. There's equal to the paces, and then the paces were 81,000 and 78,000. the difference is just like $50,000 difference plus with the trotters. You go to Europe, there's only trotters.
Yeah.
Australia, the trotters are the future. We've got to keep building these bloodlines, get these bloodlines like this to grow our product, and we're on a world stage.
Well, we're talking averages in the US, and I mean the trotting fillies and colts you said, but that converts to around 200,000 Australian average day one. That's why I can openly say I don't think you could have bought that colt for 300,000 in the US. So, we're very fortunate. Mel and Danny Thackeray, who manage the farm here, they've done a wonderful job looking after her, and the reason that we do what we do down here is to bring mares like Maori Time home. She's in foal to Calgary Games. We've got a fourth dimension colt here. He's the only fourth dimension colt anywhere out of Europe. And we've got Aldebaran Park, who I bred up in Sweden, raced in Sweden. She's out of, I'll think of his name in a minute, a French stallion. But she's down here. She's in foal to Calgary Games as well. So there's some bloodlines that are coming in the next 4 or 5, 6, 8 weeks down here. There's probably 4 mares that we're going to have globalised pedigrees and foals on the ground, and we're just so excited. And this little fella, his name's Raptor, Aldebaran Raptor. He's already got one, so he's on the ground, and we're just looking very much forward to the next few weeks as he strengthens up a bit, and then obviously for the other mares that are coming. And the reason we do what we do is to put Southern Hemispherical racing on the world stage, and I think we've done a pretty good job with this bloke.
And we mentioned Pat's name there before. There are other people as well. Ken Breckenbrecken Farms.
Yep.
He's nearly 50-50 now. Well, he might even be worse, I think. I think he might, or better, depending on which side of the fence you are. But he's at least 50-50 trotters to paces. Aldebaran bringing world champion horses across here as well. It is so exciting, but it is actually the future of the trotters. You and I bang on about it a lot, so does Pat. But people need to sit up and actually have a good look, and we need to grow our product. And here in Victoria, it's a bit negative at the minute with everything going on, but we've got to realise the trotters we've got, we saw them at Bendigo the other night, the quality of horses we got stepping out right now, and the bloodlines, we've got to embrace them, and people need to get behind them.
Well, I mean, the 2-year-old trotters in the Breeders' Crown heat the other night went 58. Kiyang Zahara rips around Melton in 56. We had a Aldebaran Eagle in South Australia. He lost 70 metres and rated 2.5 off the stand.
I tell people, go and watch it. It is ridiculous, that race.
Yeah. And so he's probably gone 58, 59 round Globe Derby. So just to understand that these are all upbreeds, if you like. So you take the horses and the pedigrees that are doing it, and the Volsteads and the Aldebaran Eagles, these are all new kids on the block in the last 3 to 4 years as far as their progeny go. And we're hoping, and as is Pat and other breeders, they're all accessible, the stallions. I mean, we've got Dancing in the Dark here, who's the 49-2 or 49-3.
And getting well received in New Zealand as well.
New Zealand, and I mean, these are global. He's a Redley Express. These are global pedigrees.
Yeah.
And they're affordable, $4,000 plus GST for him, $3,000 in New Zealand for Aldebaran Eagle, and he keeps doing the job. I mean, I had a gentleman ring me from Canterbury this morning, and he's offered me 2 highly credentialed broodmares to breed with this season because he's not keen on breeding them. And I was just talking to Danny before. My obvious choice is to go straight to Aldebaran Eagle and work with this broodmare owner in Canterbury, and put 2 more Aldebaran Eagles on the ground in New Zealand, because if we don't put them on the ground and hopefully get some fillies, then we're doing ourselves an injustice as far as the capability of that stallion is concerned.
Biggest thing with yourself and Pat and all these other guys, you are back in the industry too. You're not just getting the stallions out there and getting the mares. You're actually back in the industry, not just through sponsorship and that, but you're trying to grow it. You're getting out here on the front foot, promoting what you guys are doing. You actually invested in the industry heavily. It's not just about getting a horse across the line first.
Yeah, and we had a lot of broodmares that we didn't sell that were in foal to Dancing in the Dark. I mean, between 4,000 and 7,500 this year, and we didn't sell them. So we'll put the foals on the ground and rebreed. We've got yearlings going to the sales next year. We sell our yearlings. So the opportunity for the racer or the investor or the breeder to access high-class pedigree horses are still here. I mean, it looks as though we've just sold Xenia. to somebody that's interested in her. She'll be bred to Dancing in the Dark, so the stud wins, the new purchaser wins, and the pedigree wins. And I mean, Xenia's out of Starkus, and Starkus has left, I think, 8 winners. So, a shrewd investment for somebody that's interested in getting in and getting an affordable stallion at the same time.
It was remiss of me too before when you were saying about those horses at Breeders' Crown. I interviewed Chris Alford, and he actually says it in the interview with James Herbertson. When 2-year-old trotters were trotting 58 for 2,100 metres, they were free-for-allers 10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago. Here's a bloke that drove horses like Noopy Kiosk. He's driven Queen Alida, Aldebaran Zeus. He drives all, and he says this is ridiculous. And 2 horses went across a line side by side. It was a dead heat.
Yes.
And they've gone 58. And the third horse was only beaten a length. That's when someone like he says those things. Sit up and take notice, because it's not something he says idly.
No, and this is what we need to keep trying to explain to the rest of the world and to future investors in our sport. And, with the opportunity that's been discussed, not loosely, but it's been mooted that harness racing in Victoria may be heading back to Moonee Valley. If there's an opportunity to do that, I think that, what a great fillip that would be if we could get our sport back into a metropolitan situation. We looked at the showgrounds a few years ago with Harness Racing Victoria, but I think there's a real opportunity. And if anyone's considering investing in the sport, ironically, if you've got a 2 or 3 year old and you breed this year, that horse technically could be racing at Moonee Valley when it's going to be going for its 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds. So I think from an investor and a futuristic point of view, we've got to back our industry. And if you want to be part of it and be racing at Moonee Valley in 2 or 3 years' time, or 4 years' time, then you should be breeding now. So support the industry and support the local stallions.
Yeah, absolutely. Make it grow. That's what we do want. Hot to Trot. It's a weekly segment. It's going to be a bit of overload this week, but that's okay. Fitzy didn't have a lot of news last week, but we want to make sure that people get involved with Aldebaran Park. Dancing in the Dark M is available both here in Australia and in New Zealand. Fresh chilled semen for both areas there. Sky Valley, I think he had 6 the other night at Bendigo in the Breeders' Crown heats.
Yeah.
I could be wrong there. Going round, they unfortunately didn't all race because of a technical issue. But $2,000, only available here in Australia though. And then Aldebaran Eagle, only available in New Zealand, but there is plenty of frozen semen there. We want to make sure people get involved and get investing in him.
It's been a good year so far. We're looking forward to the next lot of foals genetically that we're waiting for, which is the Swedish girls and the American girls. So fingers crossed everything goes really well. And as I always say, to Mel and Danny Thackeray, they've done a wonderful job, and the proof's in the pudding. And we're looking forward to the yearling sales coming up next year.
As you say, mate, hot to trot.
We're hot to trot at Aldebaran Park. We're fresh as best.
Thanks, mate.